We are live. Hello, welcome to Pro Wrestling Payoff. I am your host, Lewis Carlan, the debut episode of Pro Wrestling Payoff right here on BodySlamNet. And I couldn't ask for two better guests to join me on the debut episode of Pro Wrestling Payoff. They make up one of the best teams on the indie scene today. Fresh Air, very happy to welcome to the show, Junior Benito, Macrae Martin. Guys, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. It's a good time. It's not our first interview, but looking forward to it.
All right, man. It's always a fun time having you on. I've talked to you guys before. You guys were on the debut episode of Pro Wrestling Payoff. You must be super excited about that, right, guys? Come on,
dude. It's an honor, man. Like, hey, you know what, Lewis? You and I go way back. Like the very first podcast I ever did was a show with you. This is I think this is 2019, August or September of 2019.
Yeah, that's right.
Look where we are now.
That's right.
We're killing it.
Look where we are now. Absolutely. Thank you, man. You guys are killing it on the indie scene as well. You guys are coming off a big win. SHP Birthday Bash 2 against the Ugly Sucklings. I was watching that match yesterday. White Mike, Rob Killjoy. Your thoughts on that match? And White Mike, he's a bit of a interesting character there. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that match? If Macrae, you want to take that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, that was so much fun. Ugly Cyclings was a tag team that we've wanted to wrestle for a long time. White Mike, who I knew from his days coming to Ottawa with Gymnasty Boys, I was like, man, I can't wait to wrestle him, and to have that pleasure was great. And we had a lot of fun in that match. White Mike is something else. He knows how to talk. He knows how to move those hips. He can be very distracting, but in the end, your boys got the dub. First ever win at the H2O Center. So about time.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, Junior, congratulations on winning the Acclaim Pro Wrestling title last night. It was last night, right? You won the title?
Yeah, it was less than 12 hours.
Congratulations on that. Congratulations on that, man. So what were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on the match against the Ugly Sucklings?
I personally had such a blast, mainly because White Mike is such a character. I was trying my best not to keep it together because just him in general is such a character. So just trying to get my things together, just making sure all was well, was a challenge for me, to say the least. But I'm glad we walked away with the win.
We should also shout out Rob Killjoy for buying the How to Breakdance book that he brought to the ring, because that was probably the greatest $1 purchase I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny, man. I think he was reading a part of it at the end of it. I forgot what he said, but he was showing you something at the end, some saying that was in the book.
There was basically like a vocabulary list of like different words and what they mean. For in hip hop slang, or like in the dancing slang, and so he was trying to spit down the lingo that Junior and I never use on our day-to-day basis, but our gimmick might say otherwise.
All right, man. So for the fans who aren't aware, what are the origins of Fresh Air, and how did you guys first meet, and how was Fresh Air formed? Whoever wants to take it, if you want to take that, go right in.
Yeah, the origins was we both trained in two different schools originally. I trained in Body Slammers. Macrae trained at the IWS Training Center. This was back in 2018, 2019 around. And then once we kind of split ways with our original schools, we both went to the Keep at the same time. And it was kind of ironic. It was a little bit of a fate moment, because then when we kind of met, we were both looked at as the younger kids with potential that could maybe have some type of future in the business. So at first we obviously saw each other. We were like, kind of like, oh, okay, we'll see what happens. The macho-ness came into play for sure. But then the more we got to know each other, the more we related about many things. And then talks of a tag team came about. And over time, after the pandemic especially, we grew a little eager to wrestle together as a team. And then once we came back from the pandemic, we started doing more tag bookings. And then Macrae thought of the great name of Fresh Air. I was not a fan of the name at all when he first presented it, but it grew on me. But overall, it ended up becoming a great thing, and what you see today, which is Fresh Air.
I think there's a funny story. I think Macrae told me last time you were on, or one of the times you were on, that Junior didn't like the name Fresh Air. You were about to go on or something, and you're like, "All right, what's the new name?" And Junior was like, "I don't know." He goes, and you were like, "Okay, we're Fresh Air then. Let's go." And that's how you. That's how it happened.
I think that's basically how it happened. Because like you said, like when we came back from the pandemic, we were eager to tag, but nothing had lined up until they're like, "Oh, we need a tag team, Macrae and Junior." And my kind of rule of thumb with like any ideas in like any sort of space is like, I'm gonna give you an idea, and if you don't like the idea, you better have something to replace that idea. And if you don't, well, then I guess we're going with that idea. But no, like, and I think Junior had a point of like, oh well, we have time, like we could think of maybe a different name, a better name. But I think it's just Fresh Air just kind of organically grew to what it is now, and like the brand that we've created with it, I think has taken us to heights that we weren't even expecting. So it's been phenomenal, and I've loved every second of tagging with Junior.
Yeah. Why do you think you guys have such great chemistry? Because you guys have amazing chemistry in the ring. Why do you think that is? Whoever wants to take that one.
I think going back to what Junior said of like we went from two different schools to then meeting up at the Keep and being the two young guys with not only the potential but also the work ethic. I think that really just brought us closer together. And we also, when we started training at the Keep, it was really before there was even uh, a wrestling school. It was at the time, it was just like we had the warehouse, we had the ring, and they hadn't set up any traditional classes yet. So it would really just be us getting like private time with Eva Luno, Sue Grayson, James Stone, Cecil Nix. And, I think just being in that intimate environment just brought us closer together. And then I think what's carried that even further is, because we were wrestling all over the place and we're doing all these long drives together, I think just those bonding moments just have brought us closer together. That like when we're in the ring together, we just have this energy. We just feel each other out, and we're able to just naturally go out there and have this organic chemistry.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I mean, two matches that I absolutely loved, and I watched them again last night, was your matches against the Miracle Generation, Dustin Waller, Kylon King. Those matches were absolutely fantastic, man. Do they bring out the best in Fresh Air? Because those matches, I think, were amongst your best matches that you ever had as a tag team.
Yeah, personally, I think it's because we're both in similar situations where we're all four of us are young wrestlers that want to make our mark in the business, and we really just want to show that we can hang with the best. And I guess us having the same goal when we go against each other, it kind of brings the best out of each other because we really just want to have the match of the night every time. And also, they are IWTV Tag Team Champions, and selfishly speaking, I really want those titles. I'm
Okay.
sure Macrae wants those titles as well, but yes, they bring out the best in us for sure.
Mhm.
And the first match, I wanted to ask Junior. You did a dive over the turnbuckle. You landed on your head. Were you okay after that? Because I cringed. I was like, oh my God, I hope Junior's okay. But you got up, you continued the match. How were you feeling after that spot?
I felt great. I was a little
I'm
dinged
looking at
up
McCray right now, praying.
because
McCray's still praying.
he was there. He was there. But I in the moment, of course, you don't feel it. The rush of the moment, the crowd's a little loud, so you feel like you're invincible. But of course, after the match, there's some dings. But we did go golfing after, so I was happy. But
We
I
did,
did
we
have
did.
I had a bit of a ding, but it's thankfully worked through it.
That's great. I'm glad you're okay. Because again, I was like, oh my God. But you got up, you finished the match. You seem to be okay. I'm glad you're okay, man.
Yeah, you should have seen my
McCray.
face on the apron.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I
I
mean,
was watching it happen. I'm like, and then he just, yeah. I was like, all right, we're good. We got this.
I even noticed King kind of went over to you. He touched you. Did he ask you if you were okay or
No, he just this guy just laughed.
okay? Just
I was like, man, come on, dude, get away from me. And then oh man, something about him.
uh, so that's that second match, McCray. How cold was it? Because I see you breathing. I see the air, the cold air when you were breathing. How cold was it on
Bro.
the second night?
Oh, dude, it was freezing. I think it was I can't remember what it was in Celsius, but in Fahrenheit, it was something like the mid to high 40s, which I think is below. I think that's around like 5 degrees
Yeah,
Celsius,
it's around
something like
5
that.
or
Like
10, I think. Yeah.
yeah, in somewhere in that range. And it was freezing. If you notice, like when they start the match, Hai Long has his long sleeve on still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dustin's wearing his hoodie to
Yeah.
wrestle in. And then Junior and I, like, all we have is just like our gimmick shirts. We're like, oh, this is summer for us, basically, is what we were trying to tell the
Yeah.
crowd. But I've done a lot of outdoor shows in the blazing heat. And I'd be willing to do those again. I never want to wrestle in an outdoor ring in that sort of cold temperatures because everything hurts more. The bump hurts more, the chops hurt more, the strikes, everything just hurts more. And like that ring becomes just rock solid.
So why would they have a show in such cold weather? Maybe they weren't expecting it to be that cold? Or?
I think the weather was like up and down. They also had booked this venue probably far out in advance. It was like their big like they're close. The White Eagle is very close to this
Okay.
big famous diner, and so I think it was just like one of those their big shows. So they didn't want to postpone it or anything. There was a chance of rain, but uh, luckily the everything held up. So I think that was it. That's why they just had it planned that way. But in the end, like we had a great match. We had fun out there. And, yeah, I probably will do my best to avoid wrestling outside in cold weather again.
Okay. Can the fans expect more matches between both teams? Because I'd love to see a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th match between you guys.
Personally, I think it's gonna happen many, many times throughout our careers, but in the near future, I can't say anything really because I don't really know. But I know that
Okay.
we're gonna wrestle them a million more times for sure.
And you guys are going to get that IWTV tag team titles, right?
Yeah,
We
I
have
think
No.
for us, like, I think we've had 3 matches now against Miracle Gen. They've beaten us twice, we've beaten them once, and so I think, like, as we really want those IWTV tag team titles, but I think for me personally, I just want the culmination of us beating Miracle Gen in a friendly competition way of like these are our boys, these are our friends. Like there's a lot of parallels between us, and I think just in perfect wrestling storytelling, I think like us beating them is a very story filled moment.
So there were 3 matches. I'm sorry, I thought there were only 2 matches because there were two
We had
matches
three.
that are on IWTV.
But we had one at Mystery Wrestling.
Yeah.
They came up to Canada
Okay.
on Uno at
Okay.
Uno show.
All
Yeah,
right.
it was a
yeah.
mystery. It was a mystery.
It
Okay,
was
I'm
a
gonna have to
mystery.
see if I can find that. Is that available anywhere on to stream?
If
Or?
you go to All right, here we go. Here's the plug. MysteryWrestling.com. You can go to Evoluto's Patreon for $5 a month. $5 a month. You get all the Mystery Wrestling shows that have happened. I think there's been 8. We have the 9th one coming up June 23rd. And there's my plug for my trainer.
All right, there you go. There you go, man. All right, I hope it's different. I'm probably gonna have to go pay the $5 because I'm sure the match is worth. You said you won that match, right?
We did,
Yes.
we did. Yeah,
Okay,
we finally did it, but unfortunately the titles weren't on the line.
we're on the line. Okay, but
Oh,
you'll get another shot. You'll get those titles. Uh,
exactly.
so, at which point did you two realize that hey, we have something very special here, and we have the potential to go far in the world of professional wrestling as a tag team? At which point did you start feeling that?
That's a good question. I think the us being brought back to the States more frequently, I think was probably the biggest sign for us. Or I'm sorry, for me personally. I would say like mid 2023, where I think
Okay,
prior to that, we had started to break out into the US scene a little bit and becoming a bit more of a prominent tag team. But it's always tough to kind of see the landscape where there's already so much amazing talent in the Northeast, especially that standing it like it's so important to stand out as a unique talent. And I think once we got to that like mid 2023 spot and we just kept going to the States like once, twice, 3 times a month, um, just as a tag team going up against the best. And in the Northeast and being put on prominent shows like Limitless and Beyond and Wrestling Open. I think that's kind of for me where I was like, all right, we definitely have something special. I definitely think people are going to want to see fresh air for a long time.
Yeah, you mentioned Limitless. That was against the main event. I saw that. Wow, that was another terrific match. They're an interesting tag team, though. The main event. I love your entrance because I use Limitless because the Limitless crowd they weren't really familiar with you, but once they see you, once you come out with the terrific entrance and they see your talent in the ring, and you guys win the crowd over pretty quickly. Is that a fair assessment? You think?
I'd say so for sure. Yeah, we came in as strangers, but thankfully we walked out as a homegrown talent already in a way.
There you go. There you go. Are you going to see you back in Limitless? You think anytime soon?
I hope so. It's more schedule issues as to why we haven't been there, but the goal is definitely to be there again soon.
Yeah, we were supposed to go back at one point, but I had got hurt. So unfortunately that put a change in things. But we will definitely be back for sure. We love Limitless. Like that crowd. Just everyone there is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great crowd. Great crowd at Limitless. Maybe next time you go, maybe I can tag along. How about that? Would that be okay?
Hey,
Could I tag?
party up, party up. Let's
There we
go.
go, man. So, when many fans think of the best tag team in Canada, the team of TDT, of course, comes to mind. Do you think one day TDT will be replaced by Fresh Air when people think of who the best tag team in Canada is? Junior, do you think?
Yeah, I don't really know.
I know they're a great team. I know a great team, but just your thoughts.
Yes. Personally, it'd be an absolute privilege to be in that rank of one of the top team in Canada. Because when you think about the people that have been there, you have the Super Smash Brothers, you have TDT, and you have many others. But honestly, me personally, I'll speak for myself. I'm very thankful to be put in the spot of a team that's doing really good and that has potential to do something in this business. And living in the moment is where I'm at right now. So thinking about becoming the best tag team in Canada isn't really that one of my goals, but to do great day by day and to go from there pretty much.
What about you, Macrae? What do you think?
I have had conversations with TDT where they have said to us, like, they said to me, talking to both of us, saying like, if there is a tag team to do it, they think we are it. And that meant a lot to me. And that just motivated me to work harder because it wasn't like an original goal for me of like becoming one of the best tag teams in the country. Heck, I mean, before when I got into wrestling, I didn't even think of becoming a tag team wrestler. And like, look where we are now. And so, but I definitely think like my goal is to always be part of the conversation. There's a lot of great tag teams already. I think in terms of, well, I don't think they're signed yet, but in terms of like unsigned tag teams who I think are making the most impact right now, like Sinner and Saint, I think are at the top of my list right now. Just what they've been able to do with at Prestige, Defy all over the Pacific Northwest, and now that they've been seen on TNA television, and they're getting a much deserved exposure. I think for me, if TDT is number one, they are a close number two, in my opinion.
You mentioned TNA. Has any major promotions such as MLW, TNA, or any other promotion reached out to you guys at all? Possibly. Not yet.
Not yet.
Personally,
they will. They will.
Yes. If there were some trembles, though, we wouldn't be able to tell you out of respect for the people we'd be working with. We got to keep stuff in the hush hush under the carpet.
Okay. But I gotta try, right? I gotta try.
Keep it a mystery.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that. I'm sure if you haven't got any phone calls yet, you guys will be getting phone calls in the near future from a top promotion. Are there any teams out there right now that you haven't stepped in the ring with that you would like to?
I think I just mentioned one, Sinner and Saint.
Okay. All right.
Sinner and Saint is up there. Surprisingly, we have yet to step in the ring with the Super Smash Brothers. We have
wow.
wrestled. We have both wrestled Stu and Uno in singles competition, but we've yet to wrestle them as a tag. So those are two teams that are on my list for sure. I'm also trying to think of in the there's a KPK who's a tag team out of Mississauga, the Battle Art students. We just saw them wrestle last night. It's my first time where like I've properly seen them work, and they're a great young up and coming tag team. And I'm like, man, I would love to get an opportunity to wrestle them. I think that would be a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, also any version of Young, Dumb and Broke. That is also love to wrestle them. But yeah, those are like in the realm of teams I want to face right now.
What about the West Coast Wrecking Crew?
Oh,
I
geez.
think that would be a great match for you guys against the West Coast Wrecking Crew.
That would be a lot of fun actually. I watched them versus Sinner and Saint not too long ago actually from Prestige. And yeah, they're solid. They're absolutely solid. I feel like I'd have to keep hitting the gym a bit more to be able to line up with them though. They are massive. They're
What ab-
absolutely beasts.
yeah, terrific. Royce Isaacs, Joel Nelson, great tag team. What about you, Junior? Anybody you want to get in the ring with?
Yeah, personally, I'm trying to think of a team, but all I could think of is teams I want to face again, the ones that we've only faced
Okay.
once. So guys like
Okay.
Wasted Youth and Dylan McKay, Marcus Mathers, or Austin Luke as well. TDT, well, we didn't face them as often. We faced them a few times, but not all the time. The Bang and Matthews, who are a team from Chicago in the Midwest,
Yeah.
who are one of the best tag teams I've ever stepped in the ring with. Miracle Gen, of course, and there's countless others, but I think Macrae named most of the ones that I'd want to face for the first time.
All right, man. Now you guys spend a lot of time together on the road. I see the posts. Another 8-hour ride. You guys have some good road stories. So, is any good road stories that you could share with us here at BodySlam.net? Any either of you? Any good road stories?
I don't know if some of them are appropriate for on air, because there's an awful lot of stuff that took place, but I'm trying to think of those that are appropriate. I'm drawing a blank here. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Macrae, you could take it.
Yeah, I've got a few. I think one that always stays consistent with us is every US road trip we have to hit up Cracker Barrel. It's like it's a have to.
Okay.
To the point where there was one time where we did a show we did not Wrestling Open. We did NFW because they ran at the White Eagle. And then the next day, we had to drive back early in the morning to get to Acclaim, and we weren't sure about eating Cracker Barrel like a heavy meal before wrestling. But then we're like, "Oh yeah, we'll stop for food in a bit." It's like, what should we do? It's like, well, I mean, there is Cracker Barrel. We're like, "Oh, we couldn't do that," and then we both did the little side eye, like Cracker
We
Barrel.
just knew we had to do it.
We just do it. Yeah. So no regrets. So it doesn't matter wherever we are. We go to Cracker Barrel, Chick-fil-A as well. Chick-fil-A is
Okay.
kind of like our quick fast food stop because we don't have them here in Canada. I think that's been pretty much it. Our road stories aren't too exciting. Well, the appropriate ones, I mean, of course.
There's actually a Chick-fil-A here in Windsor, actually. So they do have them in Canada. There is one here in Windsor.
Really?
Opened up about 6 months ago. Yeah.
All right, Junior, we're going to Windsor. Let's go.
Yeah, come to Windsor, man. Come to Windsor.
It's mainly
Yeah,
just about food. It's just food.
You guys get to White Castle? You ever go to White Castle?
I've been once.
Okay. No,
It's
not for
not
you.
good. No.
Okay.
I mean, if I partook in more legal Canadian recreational activities, maybe I would enjoy that. But it's other than that, 10 sliders for $8, still not worth it.
Very well said with the legal
Okay.
Canadian recreational activities.
Yeah. Yeah, White Castle is usually the busiest Saturdays at about 2 a.m. in the morning when everybody is drunk going home from the clubs. So that's when they're
Yeah,
the busiest. Yeah.
yeah,
So
exact. You know what I mean.
yeah,
You know exactly what
yeah.
I
I've been
mean.
there. I've been there. Oh man. All right. So you guys are getting booked internationally. You guys have toured the UK. Fresh Airs had tag team matches in the UK. Tell me about the experience in the UK. What was it like teaming in the UK for the first time? What was the experience like? But talk to me about the UK, man.
It was very very enlightening seeing, because I've wrestled there in singles matches, but getting to wrestle there in tag team matches, it's a completely different ball game. As you know, tag team wrestling is very different from singles wrestling. Tag team wrestling in Europe is a whole nother beast, and it was so much fun getting to learn from the more experienced wrestlers over there, getting to get down and gritty with those guys. It was really fun, and it was definitely something I'd love to do again tenfold.
hmm hmm
How about
Yeah,
you, Macrae?
absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely. Enlightening is a perfect word. Where it's the wrestling scene. It's it's same but different. I think what stands out in the UK is like it very much feels like a fight. Everything feels like a fight, and it's always like it's super intense, super nitty gritty, and yeah, it was a terrific experience, and getting to have a solid mix of doing both singles and tag team matches, like I think gave us like the most fulfilled experience. And yeah, I can't wait to go back. And I know we'll be back, and hopefully we'll get to tag even more. I definitely know that we had turned some heads, and we got a lot of recognition when we went like for the few matches that we did out there. And I know that's just only going to grow from here.
Absolutely, man. There's no doubt it's going to grow from here, man. So what's the next country you guys want to get to? You've been to the US, you've been to the UK. You want to get to Mexico, or you want to get to Japan? What's the next country you want to get out to?
Me personally, everywhere and anywhere. If I can go to
Okay.
Mexico, Japan, Germany, Denmark, Netherlands is most specifically. I love that place. It's great. But yeah, anywhere in the
Okay.
world. McCray, McCray, you go ahead.
Uh, yeah, no, I agree with Junior. Definitely, where I want to take this wrestling journey everywhere I can. South America has a personal connection to who are out in Chile, and I have a few
Okay.
friends who are in Brazil as well. So I'd love to like get to do wrestle there, but also tour. In terms of like wrestling specific, just to kind of get the experience of would be Japan and Mexico for sure. Just like they're such unique styles, and it would definitely benefit me to learn from in both countries just to make myself a more well-rounded performer.
All right, fair. You guys definitely gonna get there. You guys don't worry about anything, man. You guys are gonna get there. Like I said, you're just getting better and better and better each time out. And as tag team wrestlers, you're great, but you're also great as singles wrestlers. Junior Benito, Acclaim Pro Wrestling Champion. You're the C4 Wrestling Champion. Macrae, I want to make sure I get this right. You're the ADSLL. Did I say that right? Or is it ASDLL?
The second one,
Oh,
ASDLL.
ASDLL. Sorry,
Yeah.
ASDLL champion as well. You have a lot of history in Acclaim, Macrae, but I saw the video, so I got to ask: are you really done with Acclaim wrestling?
Well, bit of a spoiler because that happened last night, and you'll see some
Okay,
stuff come up. But I did make an appearance last night at Acclaim, and everyone thought I was gonna turn my back on my best friend, but it was just to get in James Stone's head, and in the
okay,
end,
all right,
we ganged up on James, and in the
okay,
end,
all
the
right.
right thing happened. Junior became Acclaim champion, the first ever C4 and Acclaimed champion in history. He is the champion of Ottawa wrestling right now, and that's really cool to witness.
Yeah, because I saw the video of you two. Looked like there was some dissension between you two, and you. I think was you were battling each other for the #1 contendership for that title. And sorry, Macrae, you did lose that match. Junior won that match, but there seemed to be some dissension. I'm like, oh, is this the end of Fresh Air? I'm like, it can't be the end of Fresh Air. But thankfully, it's not. And you just got in the head of James Stone. Junior, you have a big title match coming up against Twiggy. So talk to me about that for a little bit. I'm going to be honest. I'm not really familiar with Twiggy, but talk to me about Twiggy and talk to me about that title match that's coming up.
Yeah, Twiggy. To put it quite simply, he's a master at getting in people's heads. He's got, I think, 5 people behind him. He pretty much has an army of much more intimidating fellas. So his goal is to use them to his advantage and hopefully become C4 champion. But I do have tricks up my sleeve. I know I'll be able to walk away as champion after that match is all said and done, but it will not be an easy night for sure. But that doesn't take away the fact that I have respect for Twiggy. He's done a lot in the Montreal and Ottawa independent wrestling scene. He's been there since Kevin has been around, El Generico, Super Smash Brothers. He has a career, so the respect's always there. But the ways that he got to where he wanted to get to hasn't really been the best ways. So hopefully we'll settle the score once and for all, for sure.
He's a former C4 champion as well, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Okay. That I know about him. He is a former champion. So, I mean, you basically got your start in C4. Well, I don't want to say you got your start in C4, but you caught on like wildfire in C4 when you made your debut. Was it 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, in 2019, so around 5 years.
2019.
Yeah.
So, how did it feel winning that championship for the first time? That after all those years, you're finally the C4 champion.
It was definitely a full circle moment for everyone involved in C4 and for myself, of course, because they've seen me when I was 15 years old, volunteering, and then seeing a little kid like me ending up becoming their champion. It's wonderful to fantasize about, but it's something else to actually live it. So it was definitely one of those surreal moments for me.
Macrae, do you have any title defenses coming up for the ASDL title?
Yes, I actually am defending it June 21st in Hawkesbury against hometown boy Mathis Meyer. It's definitely it's a match that people have been wanting to see for a long time. Him being the hometown hero and everything. I know I'm not going to be well liked when I step in there, but I've been champion for about 490 plus days with countless title defenses, and I know that Mathis is in for a fight, so he better get ready.
How can anybody not like you, though? You said they're not going to like. How can anybody not like you? You're such a likable person. Both of you are.
We all have a dark side. We all have a dark side.
Yeah, you saw bits of my dark side come out in that video and stuff.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I sometimes to quote the Joker, all it takes is one bad day, and then menace.
There you go, man. There you go. Are you looking to get the Seaway Valley title back from Aiden Prince, or have you moved on from that?
You know what? I don't know. I definitely always want to be champion. I definitely want to, especially how I lost the title. I definitely want to get it back. But he's been on a bit of a rampage with Magnum McLaren, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna distance myself, kind of see how things play out, and then kind of sneak in my opportunity where I can. But for now, I'm gonna let Aiden just do his thing. Let him think that he's a worthy champion. Think that he's a fighting champion. Before he knows it, menace. Get him.
Okay.
It's very intimidating.
Right.
I know, right? so intimidating, likable and intimidating. That's my MO.
All right, man. All right, I have 4 old school tag teams, and I'm going to name all 4 of them one by one, and you tell me how you think Fresh Air would fare against them, or how the match between the 2 teams would play out. Is that cool? Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
First team, the Rock and Roll Express versus Fresh Air. How would that play out?
I think it would be a hassle because we'd immediately be put as the villains because that team was a riot back in the day. They were the most beloved people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be a challenge, but it would definitely be a great athletic competition for sure.
My opinion, they're the greatest tag team of all time.
Yeah.
But that would be what about you, Macrae? How do you think you would handle Ricky and Robert?
I think it'd be a perfect complement of styles for sure. I think, especially with back in the day, like how they're running roughshod. I do think that they are one of the best tag teams of all time. I mean, they're not doing bad for themselves to this day. Like they're
Yeah, I know
still
they're still teaming.
they're still going. So you never know. It still could happen. Fresh Air versus the Rock and Roll Express. But I agree. I think it'd be a great athletic competition, and I think it would definitely be a great match.
All right, man. Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors against Fresh Air.
We get destroyed. No.
We're dead.
It definitely wouldn't. We'd walk away with some bruises for sure. It would not be easy, but it'd be fun for sure and an honor to step in the ring with them.
Yeah, they didn't like to lose, so we would lose.
Yeah,
But no, I think just like in terms of of how iconic they were, I think like definitely would be such a cool moment to share the ring with them.
Yeah, man. All right, the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart against Fresh Air.
It'd be a privilege and an honor to step in the ring with. I mark out for Bret Hart just because imagine stepping in the ring with him. Jim the Anvil Neidhart's great as well, but come on, it's Bret Hart. It's Bret Hart. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
I think it would bring out like a different side of us where I think people are very much used to seeing the super flashy big moves from us, but we can spar when we have to. Like I think we're pretty decent technical wrestlers, and I think getting the opportunity to showcase that would be a fun challenge and opportunity.
I said 4 old school teams, but there were 3, and I got 1 current team that
Okay.
I would love to see you guys against: Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. I would love to see you guys against those 2. How do you think you would fare against Goto and Hashi?
I think it would be more of a styles clash where we both have very different ways of wrestling. So the idea of it excites me for sure. So I know it would definitely be one of those matches that will be remembered, most definitely. But who would walk away as the winner? I can't answer. But selfishly speaking,
and that match could very well happen in the near future. What about you, Macrae? What do you think about Goto and Hashi?
I'm gonna need to work on my steel jaw, that's for sure. I think Junior summed it up perfectly. Like clash of styles, and I think it'd be a very interesting matchup. And yeah, it could happen if we catch Fresh Air in Japan. I think it'd be amazing to get that opportunity.
Do you guys study old school matches, tag team matches?
We study everything, but at the same time, there's always more that can be done for sure. So it's something that I know we don't do enough of, but we will definitely keep going on studying more old school matches, especially.
Me personally, I definitely could study more old school stuff just to kind of experience their psychology and everything. I tend to watch more of I can't remember. I think it was Dr. Bob who does commentary for
Yeah.
C4 and a few other
Yeah.
places. But he was telling me like the best way to improve is also just to watch the guys that you're going to be wrestling, like being sharing the ring with. So I watch a lot of current stuff of like I watch a lot of GCW because I know that we're going to wrestle a lot of those guys. I'll watch the current product of all the major companies because I know at some point we are going to be a part of that mix. So I think that's kind of where my mind always goes to in terms of watching, just so that like I can see how people that we're coming up with and we're in the space with are wrestling, and I kind of want to find that balance between my style, like our style, with their style.
So, what's the ultimate goal for where do you guys want to ultimately end up?
If I were to think of ultimate goal, to be the best of the best, because I know if we have that goal, the sky's the limit and we're gonna land amongst the stars. So yeah, short and simple for me, to be the best, one of the best on the top tier level of tag team wrestling for sure.
Hmm. I have to agree. I think no matter where we get signed or if we get signed, if we just dominate the indies on a global scale, I think ultimately my goal as well is to just be considered one of the best tag teams of all time.
All right, man. You guys, you're well on your way to getting to earning that title for sure, and without a doubt. I mean, I've been following you guys for years, and you guys just get better and better and better and better and better. And I'm glad, we talked like 5 years ago. I'm glad 5 years later we're still talking. So
Still
it's
talking.
still talking, man. We're still all plugging along here, man. So last question, and then I'm going to let you guys plug anything you want. It's kind of a fun question. I know we talked about this in the past. When are we going to get Fresh Air versus Dirty Breeze already? We need to have that match. It's Fresh Air versus Dirty Breeze. Is there any hope in hell that match is going to happen anytime soon?
I think it's very possible. I think it could. Where will it happen? I have no idea. There's a lot of potential. I know we want to break out into the West Coast more, like the Pacific Northwest, and I think they're very prominent over there. So I think there's space there. But also, we've seen Dirty Dango come to the East Coast. We've seen him. I mean, I think he lives in Maine. But
Okay.
I've seen them. I think the last time I saw them wrestle was at Prestige. I think they
Okay.
wrestled as a tag team.
Okay.
But anyway, I think it's gonna happen for sure at some point, whether it's this year, next year, maybe 2 years from now. You're gonna see Fresh Air versus Dirty Breeze, 100%.
All right. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. So you guys have a lot of merchandise. I know you're selling. You got Fresh Air shirts. I got to get a Fresh Air shirt, by the way. But go ahead. You guys want to plug anything? Go right ahead, man.
Oh, I'll let Macrae go with that one because he's really good at our merchandise.
Actually, can I get a Clap Them Cheek shirt? Are those available?
Yes, they're available everywhere and anywhere on Pro
Okay.
Wrestling Tees, in my garage, any show I'm at. Let me know.
Okay.
We'll talk about it personally for sure.
Oh yeah, we'll we'll
Okay.
we'll hook you up, Lewis. But yeah,
Okay.
you can follow me on any social media platform. I'm at the Hot Stepper PW. You can also go to my Pro Wrestling Tees store. I have all my t-shirts up there. It's prowrestlingtees.com/Macrae Martin, where you can find all three of my designs plus the brand new Fresh Air t-shirt. Um, and yeah, any show I'm on, you can buy my merch there.
All right.
Yeah.
Any chance you're coming out to the Windsor area anytime soon? I know there's a new promotion out here, NCG Wrestling. You guys coming out here at all?
Hey, once we get that phone call, we'll be there.
Okay. Okay. I'll put a good word in for you guys then.
Thank you.
All right,
I'll
guys.
let
It's
I'll,
always.
I'll let Big Boy just quickly plug his social media.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
You
Go
can
ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
give the Big Boy the follow.
yeah, on X, on Instagram, TikTok, I'm at Junior_Benito, or if you don't find that, it's just Junior Benito. And Pro Wrestling Tee Shop, I have my Clap Them Cheeks t-shirt. I'm about to put the Fresh Air merchandise as well, and that's about all I have. My next show will be next Saturday at the Slush Puppy Arena in Gatineau. We have 3,000 tickets sold, and it's going to be a great time. That's all I have to say for that.
All right, man. Well, it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. Let's just do this again soon. Thank you for being my first guest on my new podcast here on BodySlam.net. Always fun talking to you, as I said. And again, let's do this again real soon. I wish nothing but the best of luck. You guys are going to be absolute superstars. And keep doing what you're doing, man.
Appreciate
you
you,
so
Lewis.
much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. And we'll be back on June 23rd with Pro Wrestling Payoff with my special guest, Vinny Pacifico. Will be joining me on June 23rd. And until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.